Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. This week, Nintendo announced their next entry in the Pokemon franchise, a Nintendo Switch set of titles called Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Rumors of these games have been floating around the internet for some time, and it seems that most of them turned out to be accurate. The new games are apparently a remake of sorts of Pokemon Yellow, centered around the idea of having either Pikachu or Eevee as your unique helper, hanging out with you in the game overworld. The even more far-fetched rumor of having Pokemon Go compatibility turned out to have merit as well. Pokemon you encounter in the wild appear to be caught using the Pokemon Go method of physically throwing the Pokeball at a tiny orange circle. In fact, the game will even work with a special Pokeball accessory that'll let you transfer a Pokemon from the game to it so you can actually walk it around the real world. Just make sure you keep that wrist strap on while you're playing, otherwise you're going to end up losing your television. Of course, Pokemon you capture in Pokemon Go will also be compatible with the game via transfer to the Go Park, though one would assume that it'll be a late game feature. It's unclear from the trailer if the traditional method of weakening the Pokemon in battle is necessary for capture, though the traditional battle system is present in the game, at least for fighting other trainers. Giving credence to the idea that this really is a Gen 1 remake, we have the return of Team Rocket in a battle that appears to be taking place during the infamous Silph incident. Meanwhile, it looks an awful lot like this Eevee is fighting a Horsey on a 3D rendering of the SS Anne. But it's not all old rehashes. As for new features, the game will introduce the intriguing option of local co-op, allowing two players to capture and battle side by side. Which is really unfair for that bug catcher, like he's not at enough of a disadvantage already. More importantly though, it looks like you can even dress up your specific Pokemon partner. Finally, we're getting the features that really matter. Pokemon Go is set to hit the Switch on November 16th, but there is another Pokemon product to help you kill time if you can't wait. Alongside the announcement of the new game, Nintendo also stealth-launched Pokemon Quest for the Switch, with a mobile version coming soon. This blocky-styled adventure has all the staples of your favorite and/or most despised mobile gacha game. To play this game, you earn Pokemon by setting food out and waiting for one to come along and be your friend. Then you send those Pokemon out on expeditions that, while you can play manually, you might as well just set it to auto and watch it play itself. Completing an expedition gets you gear to either make your Pokemon stronger or to be used as vendor trash, trading them for more cooking materials. And of course, the game limits your playtime with a stamina bar and rewards you with in-game currency for daily logins. Still, I gotta admit, there are worse time wasters out there. Watching your team battle through stages like a weird combination of Pokemon, Minecraft, and Diablo is strangely satisfying. And it's mostly free, so why not? In other video game news, Bethesda had Fallout fans staring at a standby screen for a full 24 hours before releasing the first trailer for Fallout 76, a possibly online game of unknown description set in the Fallout universe. There's really not much else that's known about it yet, but considering E3 is next week, I'm sure that'll change soon enough. Also getting ahead of the E3 hype is Capcom, who has seriously been pumping out the Mega Man news lately. While Mighty No. 9 didn't quite take off like anybody hoped, it seems to have lit a fire under Capcom's ass in regards to the Blue Bomber. Not only have we seen the release of the Mega Man collection and have the Mega Man X collection coming out next month, we're still not done with Mega Man games for this year. The newly announced Mega Man 11 looks to be doing everything Mighty No. 9 was supposed to do, updating Mega Man for a new generation and adding new core mechanics to the game. In this case, that means the Double Gear, which allows you to slow down time and power up your abilities. Mega Man will tackle 8 new Robot Masters on October 2nd. And finally, one more pre-E3 announcement, Team Sonic Racing is on track for a winter release, putting Sonic back behind the wheel for another racing game. Moving away from video games to movies, if you feel like Infinity War has too many dudes running around, maybe head out to see Ocean's 8. Julia Roberts brings Hela and Shuri together along with 5 more of Hollywood's finest to pull a heist at the Met Gala that involves stealing a bunch of diamonds from Catwoman. But if you're in the mood for something a little more haunting, there's Hereditary. A super creepy looking movie about family demons that seem to literally be demons. Yeesh. Over on television, Humans returns to AMC this week for a 3rd season of the AI Uprising. And on Freeform, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger is the latest of Marvel Entertainment's television offerings. They're not drug-fueled kind of mutants, and they're not in New York, but these magically powered star-crossed lovers still seem to have the basic concept down, and by all accounts it's worth a watch. On Netflix, it's the end for Sense8 this week. The series finale will be getting a special release to see the show off. And finally, Big Hero 6 the series is starting proper this week. While the first episode premiered last November, the full season will air over the summer. Over in books, I'm literally going to judge this one by its cover, cause it's a cool cover. Furious seems to be a book about a couple dealing with bills, insurance, and legendary giant trolls. Seems interesting enough to give a shot. Otherwise, Star Trek Discovery Fear Itself is a novel centered around everybody's favorite Kelpian in the days before he joined the Discovery crew. In PC releases, we have Warlock Tower Defense, which honestly looks like a low-budget version of the StarCraft II Elemental Tower Defense game that you can play for free, so I would recommend that instead. Or maybe play Defense Task Force. It certainly looks like a more elaborate game than Warlock, but the overly cinematic trailers do make it hard to tell how it actually plays. No joke, there is a 5-minute trailer of this game detailing the elaborate backstory of a world in an energy crisis, the breakdown of global politics, and a mission to colonize a new planet. The game still looks good though. Sorcery Saga, Curse of the Great Curry God looks like a cute little tactics RPG, although considering the limited amount of gameplay in that trailer, I'm gonna assume it's really an anime-themed visual novel that occasionally interrupts the story for some RPG breaks. Likewise, SGZH, Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter, is exactly the game you would expect it to be, with a team of Japanese schoolgirls fending off an army of undead monsters in increasingly tattered clothes. For something a bit older looking, the Humans collection looks like it was made in prehistoric times and has kind of a Lemmings feel to it, making you take control of people to assign them various roles and solve puzzles. For our RPG Maker entry of the week, Destiny of a Wizard 2 Beyond the Veil is the second in a series of Ultima CJ, so good for him for keeping at it. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is the newest fighter from Arc System Works, putting together a wide range of characters from several franchises like Persona, Under the Night and Birth, and the Rooster Teeth original Ruby. Meanwhile, Vampire looks like a really cool open-world game that puts you in the shoes of a doctor that is also a vampire, struggling to find a cure for the flu epidemic while keeping his own hunger pangs in check. But for something even more disturbing than a doctor vampire, there's Daddy. It's unclear what the goal of this game is supposed to be. The description says you need to find your daddy, but the trailer clearly shows the opposite. Daddy's coming to find you, and things are getting dark. So, on the lighter side of things, Hakoniwa Explorer Plus is a surprisingly elaborate-looking action RPG with a neat isometric 3D style. It kinda reminds me of Super Mario RPG, except the description says it has nudity and sexual content. Can't imagine how a game in this style would... Oh, never mind, there it is. Okay then. Dragon Battle is, according to the description, a competitive 3D magical cavalry game with horse combat, pet battles, and unlimited combo experience. Also, that is definitely the Dragon Mount flying animation from World of Warcraft. Oh, and that is definitely Deathwing from World of Warcraft. Wow, that is just shameless. Speaking of shameless, it's finally time for Shaq Fu, the Legend Reborn. Only one man can save us from evil, and that man is Shaq. This game fascinates me. It's like an experiment in how far somebody can take intentional badness. But while Shaq Fu plays nothing straight, the dark inside me looks pretty darn serious. Don't know how to gauge it as an adventure game, but at least it's a heck of a trailer. And the same goes for The Works of Mercy. I guess this is just the week for freaky looking horror adventure games. Yep, it definitely must be, because there's also Grey Dawn. Blood, crosses, and overall creepy stuff. Talk about a saturated market. I'd cry for these competing games, but apparently crying is not enough. Is also a horror adventure game coming out this week. Seriously. And there's even one more adventure game coming out this week about the undead hordes, but at least scheming through the zombie apocalypse The Beginning stars cute cartoon animals. Over on consoles, The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker is a rare FMV game to make its way to home systems. You generally don't see these kind of games outside the PC, which makes me wonder if this isn't worth a look. Grid Retro Enhanced is a Star Fox-like shooter in the style of Tron that released last year but is now making its way to the Switch this week. And the same can be said for the Banner Saga 2. Originally released in 2016, the critically acclaimed strategy game is headed for the Switch, but neither of those can hold a candle to Flashback. The ancient Sega Genesis game is celebrating its 25th anniversary with a new release for the Nintendo console. though $20 does seem to be a pretty steep price for a game that's older than a healthy chunk of the Switch audience. Wrapping things up with this week's awesome video, Hat-Loving Gamer is back with another mix-up as a variety of newcomers take on the Bowser Challenge. Some fare better than others. That's everything for this week, so what's your take on Pokemon Let's Go? Will it get you back in the series? Will it get you to download the app again? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, you know what to do, and if you want to see more, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Feel free to share this video with your friends, and have a great week!